Okay, so I want you guys to just imagine something for a minute. I want you to picture yourself as part of animal control, okay? Say one day you get a call and someone just reported an abandoned animal in an abandoned house. So you get to the house, you're probably expecting a dog or a cat. Well, when you walk in, you inspect, you don't see anything, and then you walk into the garage. And in the garage is a full-grown Bengal tiger. Now this might seem kind of crazy, might be kind of hard to imagine, but actually in the state of Texas, this happened pretty recently for law enforcement. There are actually more tigers in the state of Texas than there are out in the wild. So this is mainly due to the exotic pet exchange. Now you can legally own a tiger and keep it as a pet in the state of Texas. It's actually easier to get a permit for a tiger than it is to keep an aggressive dog. Other animals such as monkeys, birds, reptiles, snakes, these are all popular animals in the exotic pet exchange. And some of them have turned out to be great pets, and some of the species have been preserved by becoming pets. And others have actually turned from pets to pests and have become invasive species. So I want to ask you guys, how many of you had a goldfish when you were growing up? I have had more goldfish than I am proud to say. They didn't usually last very long. But goldfish are actually considered an exotic pet, and they are incredibly invasive when they're introduced into lakes or streams. So this is an invasive goldfish. Mine never got this big. They never made it that long, but this is what happens. So in the article, analysis for the function for the biological feature of the goldfish with a view to draw up plans for population control from bio1.org in 2011, Massimo Lorenzino tells us that the reason these goldfish become so invasive over time is because they can overpopulate so quickly. Female goldfish can actually lay 40,000 eggs a year. And because of this rapid reproduction, they just overtake ecosystems just really quickly, and they're hard to get rid of. They also can grow to be the size of a 2-liter pop bottle, which, who knew, right? And so they take out a lot of the smaller species that are already there. Another example of a pretty popular pet that turned into a pest is the Burmese python. So these pythons, this is a little Burmese python when it's just freshly hatched. Not my thing, but I mean, it's small enough to fit in the palm of your hand, so not too threatening, right? Well, full grown, this is a Burmese python.
Oh my goodness.
This one is about 18 feet in length, but they can get up to 23. So because of this rapid growth, people often, especially in the Everglades, is where they're experiencing a big problem. People get these snakes when they're little, but obviously they can't contain them for very long because they get too big and too expensive to take care of. So their solution is to release them into the Everglades. Now, because of their size, there's no natural predators in the Everglades. So they have just been repopulating and getting bigger. They also have no natural control for the population, so there's nothing to limit their numbers. And because of their big size, they've eaten all of the prey, so it's, for other predators, it's gotten really hard for them to survive. And so it's really diminished the amount of natural diversity in the Everglades, and the whole ecosystem is kind of just collapsing. So, with that being said, these pets turn to pests, but other exotic animals have actually really benefited from becoming pets. This is Juniper Fox. She is actually deemed the happiest fox on the internet, and rightly so. She looks pretty happy, but she is a red fox saved from a fur farm. Now, how these fur farms work is they're usually, the foxes are domesticated because they have been bred so much in captivity. So they actually don't possess the requirements to survive on their own anymore. If they were to be released into the wild, they probably wouldn't make it. So Juniper, along with a bunch of other foxes, have become domesticated household animals, much like a dog. Not quite the same, but they have a lot of the same traits. So these animals have actually been saved from that. Another example is the hyacinth macaw, and that's this bright, beautiful bird that's up here in the corner. These birds are native to South America. So Rogerio Fuente wrote an article called "The Hyacinth Macaw Makes a Comeback" in 2016 from panda.org. Now, he estimates that there's probably about 65,000 of these birds left in the wild, which seems like a lot, but most of these numbers is due to conservation efforts. So they are natural to South America, but because of deforestation and destruction to their environments, the population is quickly diminishing. So keeping these exotic animals as pets might be the only way to keep this species alive. So really what it comes down to is any animal can become an invasive pest. If you consider goldfish exotic, if goldfish can do it, any animal can. Imagine if everybody that owned a cat let it go into the wild all at the same time. It would be crazy, right? And cats also carry diseases like rabies, which humans can contract. So when you compare a cat next to a bird, sometimes cats can seem more threatening. But it's because of the level of care, expenses, and expertise that these animals take that can turn them into pests. One of the most common reasons people let these animals go is because they don't have the right knowledge. They just don't know how to take care of them. So in June 2011, in the Journal of Avian Medicine and Surgery, Laurie Hess wrote the articles "Exotic Animals, Appropriately Kept Pets or Inappropriately Kept Problems." And she just talks about how certain exotic animals would make good pets and certain exotic animals just wouldn't. Some take too much time, too much energy, too much expenses, and overall care that it just wouldn't work out. But some do. With that being said, a wolf can be just as much your pet as a Yorkie can if you take care of it right. But if you release it into the environment, it can have potentially devastating effects.